Phinze sikumukele kembukeli emakhaya sikumukela another episode of Temidlalo lapho ke sikhulumisa khona lokwenteka ukuthi Temidlalo lapha even namuhla nambukelise lokunjalo solosiqhubeka nalohlelo solosiqhubeka nako eku-update ukuthi kuhamba njani phela endzabeni Temidlalo njalo ukuthi ama activities or there are limited activities since basically bekudlala Young Buffaloes over the past weekend. But we're still here, we're still holding it down lapho khona sibuka nje ukuthi ngabe vele yini lokwentekako ke lokuthiwa ke ma activities kude khathe inkundleni but ke khona phela lokwentekako ku boardroom and kuphi nalapha nalapha kuzama kulungiselela yona Temidlalo ukuthi madibuye kube hambe kahle konke kube smooth kepha ke mbukele ihlelo litawuqhubeka. My name is Patizwe Msibi. I'll be your host for the next hour lapho khona sibe sikhulumisa leto tindzaba kanti namuhla ehlelweni lesikuphathele kona njalo kungasho mbukele efikeni eliphelile ukuthi sithabe sina Bruce Gama lesitabe sikhulumisana naye la ehlelweni. Bruce Gama, one of the top tennis players lesinawo la even we still trying to get hold of him. Sitakhulumisana naye ngaye njalo aseningizimu Afrika sitakhona ukuthi simthole sive njengaye ukuthi ngabe khamba kanjani kule lockdown njalo besikhumbula ukuthi eminyakeni lophelile towards the end bebasilungiselela imidlalo njengabo Aces Academy le kwaba i-tournament lenkulu kakhulu so sitawuva nje ukuthi ngabe qhubekela phambili khamba kanjani sitawuva kuye yena Bruce Gama. Kanike kulethinye lesitakhulumisa namuhla sitakhulumisa Donata lapha kasoka njengalo iyoga now because sekushinjele Eswatini Olympics and Commonwealth Games Association sitawubona nje ukuthi phela kuta elections masinyane tintsaba leto nato lesitawumele sikhulumise kuva nje ukuthi ngabe ubani vele labafuna kusasa leto tikhundla sibabuke ukuthi ngabe vele kutawuhamba kanjani and we hope ukuthi ezamalanga acubeka sitake sibabide babili bathathu babuye batochaza la ukuthi yini abafuna ukushintsha bona yini abafuna ukwenda lokho and of course sasesigcina sikhuluma ngayo ke yona i-Young Buffaloes le beyidlala lapha Mavuso over the past weekend lapho sitawubuka khona ukuthi idlale kanjani. We have all the goals for you mbukeli sitakhombisa njalo lokho kwendeka la kwendekile idola kusena khashana kanganani kwendeka idola sakhomba ukuthi kwendeke kanjani kwento abobani kepha ke e-studio lo tabahlatiya konke lele ngikhuluma ngako la celeni kwami nalinda Master Dlamini lesitabe sikhulumisana naye ehlelweni angimnike lethuba mlangena avusele babukele emakhaya.
Yaphathizwe ngiyabonga Monday sekuvele kunjalo ngumvulo labanye bathi ngumvulo I don't know if it's a blue Monday but ngitithuwa lokukhulu ngivusele ama-loyal viewers ekhaya yes etindzabeni mhlambe ngala ebholeni emaswati akajabuli kodwa ke sitawuva because nema election njengoba social elections akasoka iyoga
now yeah so babang iyoga
yeah and lamagama lakhona lapho lamanye akhona ataba mangata labanengi because ngasi kutawubambeka amapapa but sitawuva konke lokho
kuthi kuyabanje nifele amapapa tinfene njengaleti kepha ke stava masesikhuluma ngako master kepha ke we still trying to get hold of yena Bruce ngiyethemba ukuthi sitamthola masinyane njalo is already connecting with us khona lapha eNingizimu Africa dawati with her iyabhetha namhlanje sengasiphenzi just la njenga last week because earlier we tested naye Bruce kwabukeka kwangathi konke kume kahle but then just now kwaqalela seliyakusha kakhulu sekunjeyana seliyana sekunenkinga tephinze the connection. But I'm happy to say I can see Bruce right now. Sesta khona ukukhulumisana naye sive ukuthi ngabe kuhamba kanjani. I'm gonna cross over to him ngibe ukuthi ngabe siyakhona yini kumthola yena Bruce Gama. Bruce angumukele nguvusele ehlelweni Temidlalo. Bruce, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome to the show, bro.
Welcome. No. Thanks, Patizwe. Really appreciate it.
Siyabonga ukuthi sigcina sikuthulile Bruce njalo kuna last week isazama manje ukuthola sola sikufuna kepha ke finally I'm very happy ukuthi sinawe la ehlelweni kepha ke Bruce mhlawumbe nje singahamba kakhulu singakahambi kakhulu. Let's look back a bit 2020 for you guys as Aces Sports Academy and for you personally. Beginning COVID we know a lot of things betimile but for you guys khona le nkhonile kwenda how was 2020 for you and tennis?
No, 2020 was fine for us, man. it was quite meant for us to be able to launch the series. Kulesikhathi lebe silikhulu kangaka, but it's Konile, which actually was a great achievement for us, and also for Swazi tennis players, because the main thing was definitely for them, to try and by all means to make more competitions through our team, where I was able to convince the chairman for us to be able to actually do that. Of which, it was a start, and then we had to actually stop because then again, but I am very happy that we were actually able to launch that, and it was actually more than a success.
Ngabe kukephakele ku-launch anidlalise beku-challenge kangakanani with everything that's going on with COVID?
Angeva?
Kube challenge kangakanani kulungiselela lemidlalo ye-Acer Sports Academy, more especially kunama events labo khanza kona ukuthi kumele kude ama international players?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit tough because, there was a lot of uncertainty. Bamlabaneng, we're not sure whether to come or not to come. You understand, especially Lekrina, which was actually the big one. But in terms of the first 3 that we did, things were fine. Things were okay. We tried what we could because at the end of the day, what was important is that my players at Konile could, even some of the international actually came, where we witnessed a really high, ranked players that came through, which was actually something that was great, having played with them before, it was so convinced for them to come through. As it was going to be a bit difficult, which is one of the reasons why I actually stepped in as Acer's captain, and also because the chairman had so many ambitions, and I like associating myself with something that is, has that ambition because I'm an ambitious man. And we're able to pull that through. We had our difficulties, I don't want to lie. But, Gwendegile, there was first series, second series, third series, which they were Mozambicans, and we had one, Edgar Kazembe, number 1 player from Zambia. So, it was really a great start, but I was happy to actually, be somebody that had to convince them, call them direct. And, everybody loves Swaziland anyways. They got a chance to come through. Yeah, and the rest happened.
The competition itself, Gulama tournament, Bruce, how would you sum Lama competition in terms of internationals and all that? Beki level competition, considering as well Guti Nigana Shara Nangadali for some time.
For me, I would start with the first 2 and then go to the third one before me, where it was more like the closing. You understand? The reason why I late in corner, because remember the previous year, 2019, which was the first, edition of Acer series. Lapo, we did the tournament. It was a big tournament, but I wasn't really for it. Coming from the background that I come from. Mine was let's have players play, to that level. They would see they can actually compete for a bigger tournament. Not to we play and then we have players outside coming in and then taking all the money. Not really even having competitions with our players because we did not have tournaments before that. Most tournaments were for juniors, which it's okay, but they haven't reached now with that level. So hence why. Nasifika 2021, I had to sit down with the chairman and say, you know what, I think personally for me, the best thing that we can ever do is let's do something but which was really big. It wasn't small because the prize money was really good because each and every tournament I think it was sponsored to a tune of 20 grand per tournament, which was something living in the ganga in terms of prize money, not counting all the other expenses, So that's Nasenda logo. It's ended the first series where I lost against Derek, and then we went on then to play the second one, which I couldn't attend because of injury. We're busy trying to prepare for the other one. We're actually here in Joburg trying to sort out a lot of things, preparing for the third one and also the bigger one. And then we went to the third one, which I was around. I lost semi-finals on that one. For me, I would say before we even got to the third one, the fourth one, which was the final one, my players were improving cool. It was so unbelievable, because we saw the likes of Tando, Bembe, causing an upset on Tulani Gina, which we know is a Swazi decorated player. Your Alan Machons, he came through. They haven't been playing tennis. I would say he was not playing tennis anymore. I had to call some of these guys direct and say, guys, this is a chance we have for the upcoming generation that is coming after us. And let's come and support. And the courts were flooded. A lot of people remember calling them tennis courts. You had to come early to get a chance to train. That's how much it created, so much vibe, so much traffic. You understand what I'm saying? So by the time we figure put that series, the level of tennis was already really, really high. You understand what I'm saying? So when we went to the fourth one, already players were competing. It was really good. It was good tennis. Most of the players from Mosa, they didn't have it easy, but still let gap make on. You understand? Already I went to play the fourth one, and I'm getting an injury, and but I had to play it, because I had to be a sportsman and really compete on it, even though I wasn't feeling 100% because of injuries, But at the end of it all, in total, I was happy with the level that the players from Swaziland actually showed. As long as we're gonna compete, now and then in terms of monthly, at least, or 2 tournaments per month, definitely the standard is gonna go up. That's how I improved. You understand, to get to the level that I was at some point. I don't want to you understand what I'm saying? So for me, with specific COVID, it was limited because then we regress, we went a bit back. So pass and everything and all that. But I would honestly say I like what's going on with Hayden and Hayden and Derek. You understand? Okay. Yes. Because, they are able to play tournaments outside and stuff. I could tell even the level, Hayden gave Derek a tough time on the semi-finals. He made semi-finals on a serious tournament. That was really great. The improvement was unbelievable. Tando also made, semi-finals as well, So we saw new players, really coming in. The younger players showed they can actually become bigger. You understand what I'm saying to you? Just because we had only 4 tournaments. Can you imagine if we can have more tournaments? And they were all well organized. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. The rules were you understand what I'm saying? I think you did have a chance to get there. I was actually having really hard competition at home for the first time in so many years, probably over 10 years. You understand? So for me, I was really happy, and I was happy that I was the person that actually went in to advocate for that.
Yeah.
You understand? So give me anything like the improver in tennis, it's really something that I take pride on. So I was really happy to see that. But it's barely move, but I know with Hayden being there, training every day, I actually saw a program with the way that they are training, the way that they put so much professionalism in the whole thing, and the fact that they're competing outside, I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden would actually beat all of us right now. You understand? So for me, to answer you in short, I'd say I'm happy with everything that's going on.
Now, Bruce, you spoke of Botando and the likes, they are carrying the competitions for some time in the Masinya Benasa enough game time. Temidlalo. Bruce, and how can it improve the standard? They are getting older, bo Hayden, they are getting old. Because I remember some few years back, junior tournaments, the scales as much as the juniors up here.
Yes, you remember very well. Nalama junior tournaments would say, yeah. No, as much as juniors are getting attention, remember would say nalogo would say juniors are negative attention. One problem would see they were players before us, your magistrate Sihle Lulu, my president Maxwell Jele, Duma Lulu, Bosco Lulu, Derek Jele, your Hammond Jele. Those were the guys. You understand what I'm saying? But after Sebasugile Bona, you understand? Then who came in? That was a problem. Luckily, at that time, Mhlume was coming up, and we were so many. The competition was so unbelievable on us as juniors. So we came in and we filled in that. But now we had history tennis. Because the leadership, after they got older, they did not move on to play mass seniors and dominating mass seniors outside. You understand why? Because they never got that picture. You would say, listen, it's not just here. You understand? Which then touches Lenya Inzaba, that we can probably talk about it. You must scholarships, like the other countries are getting scholarships. So Tinas's figures in there, as far as remember, Allen used to be number one. Tulane came in when he was on fire. He went to the All Africa Games as well. I was his number two at that time, but I was number three for a very long time, which actually really helped me a lot because I learned from Allen Tulane. You understand? And Ben Suena Ben Shum, But then when we went to seniors, then that's where the problem started. Now they are dominating in Swaziland. I never wanted to dominate only in Swaziland. I've always wanted to dominate. I always wanted to be in that level. You understand? So, but one thing that I liked first before I could myself outside. So I pushed so hard, I became number one, and I became the long leg. But it was something that I took a decision on. But then what comes to Tulane is taking another direction. Allen is taking another direction. But because I was there, I would make sure I try and call them and say, guys, you can't. I cannot survive the whole thing. Ningeko. Because now I don't.
Seem to be losing him there. Sisakuluma Master, he's touching on some very important points, more especially on his first point. Lapho khona akhulumele ukuthi but ngathi ngiyamthola Master Star ukubeka naye Bruce uhle ukhatheka lapha kepha ke besakhuluma lapho ukuthi the gaps abangelwa yini nokuthi how we are overcoming that. Can you hear me, Bruce? Yeah, it's facing difficult. Manyana problem lapha. Unmute your mic, Bruce. I'm over, but I know you can hear me. But when I make yako is the same mute kwanyalo. Unmute your mic. Siqhubeke si ne conversation yethu le sahamba kahle kunyalo. Master. Beka khuluma lapha. Netinkinga le mageplay abakhona mabasadlala. Le njalo kusibona nyalo kukhani kuvela bo Thando nabo Hayden. But mabuka bo Thando ubuke bo Bruce. Leminyaka mkhulu kakhulu.
Yeah, le gap ngicabanga ukuthi ibe khona vele for a very long time, but ngicabanga ukuthi yena Bruce is one person low passionate nge-tennis kakhulu. Ngicabanga ukuthi uyeva ukuthi lemvu ila kuye. So ngicabanga ukuthi ngiko lokuzama ukuthi le gap this younger generation noma laba khona nyalo the younger players laba khona nyalo bakhona ukudlala lama tournaments because esikhathini lesiningi vele lama tournaments bayangasiwo maningi yena nje Bruce utakutshela ukuthi vele lama tournaments kubo bekayindlela kakhulu ngicabanga ukuthi kubite nalokuthi lo move lenva 800 because now move lo si wabancenga labanye badlali ukuthi guys ingabe sesinyahamba sinenyamalala kakhulu la tennis but ibani khona sitokhona lokuthi sithathe le sport sisibeke kulenye i-level. So ngicabanga nje ukuthi kuye Bruce we have someone lesingathi gcaja ngaye lesingathi gcapha ngaye now move ngalolwati lanalo ngetennis nangalendlela la sa archivile ka tennis ungafika ukuthi maybe move lona bo 50 ngalendlela la archive ngayo but ngiyajabula parties I'm very happy.
And imobuka Master makhombela kahle le ASAS tournament le competition bekhona and bo Hayden they proved ukuthi well bayakhula le sports akusiko ukuthi and I was impressed na ngathando ngendlela leka samajorisha ngayo and I remember some few years back asasemncane saqala and they always said bo Ncaba Mkhaliphi secretary and the president ukuthi these boys will be a problem in the future. Nangna Bruce uyavuma ukuthi no beba inkinga vele in the last few games.
It's about kuthola umuvu lokahle kuto necherisha leli talent because now move Bruce uthi wayibuka yena I program ya Hayden uthi nakayibuka le program ya Hayden uthi this boy can compete angamshakwa naye if atawulandzela kahle le program le. So ngicabanga ukuthi kuyo yonke info nangabe ihleleke kahle wathi lothi in 3 months utabe wendeni eminyakeni utabe wendeni ku 2 years utabe wendeni then ngicabanga ukuthi tonke letinvo leto natatawu khona kulandzelela kahle lama steps alandzeleleke kahle then uncane lo ngento achieve because uyadimisela lo msebenzi ulandzela ne program nale passion icon
going forward. Simbonile Hayden besikhuluma ngayena last week ukuthi uyafika kuma rankings nyalo kuma under 18 sebaqalile bamrank lokusho ukuthi direction isayibona ukuthi sifuna gcine seka ranka ku the top players. Simbona dlala la nyalo sikhuluma ukuthi kune Australian Open leqhubeka sifisile kumbona gcina afike lapho.
But we need more sponsors kuthatha sponsorisha lama tournaments because it can't just be a tournament without a sponsor. Ngicanga ukuthi lama sponsors efike lama tournaments abe manengi atodlala at least ushilo Bruce was at least twice maybe a month.
Sifuna ama sponsors atafaka imali just like iAsas le endile kule mdlalo lebe sikhuluma ngayo naye Bruce lesiphinze sesinaye futhi line ni sitaqhubeka nayo I conversation yethu. Bruce la ngifuna singene khona nyalo ngifuna ukuthi usukumise foundation lapho khona idila khona diabetics and tennis. How is that going and ima effects akho kanganani le COVID ukuthi nyalo awukhona ukuchubeka kahle njengaloku bocalile mawuyisukumisa?
You know, Gulo, I'll be honest. I faced a lot of challenges as I'm also diabetic. Hence the reason why we opened Bruce Gama Diabetes with Sports. I faced a lot of challenges because, you know, I need a lot of resting. I was doing a lot of things. Remember, I'm captain at ASAS, and then there's Bruce Gama. There's PGTS, which is Bruce Gama Diabetes with Sports, as you are saying. I'm also involved in the association, even no Mangeko corner, but there's a lot of, you know, things that I'm involved in when it comes to association EF, which I really appreciate and I like a lot about that. Hence why before Temidlalo question then about Mutekuti, but in Kamaguti in terms of FEMA tournaments. I think to be honest with you, level of now we Temidlalo before Skateg so that I call. It turns the talent right now. When it comes to Maxwell Chele, turns the talent right. The reason why you were also able to capture a lot of things like tennis and Eswatini is because there's something that is happening. You understand? So before Maxwell Chele, there was no center. You understand? Before I don't know how to say before association. I'm just singling out if my feelings. I'm sorry about it, but I'm putting it as it is. You understand? Before Maxwell Chele, Abekon, there was no tennis center. You understand what I'm saying? Before Maxwell Chele, there were no junior tournaments. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That were there. We didn't have the juniors that we have today. On that one, again, the cool. Valentine Mazia, which I know very well. So when they know, you understand? You understand? So he is a really, I know about golf right now, but it's somebody that played a very big role in the whole thing. You understand? So I enjoy being somebody a mover because I still want to play a bit before these guys. I want association and stuff but give them a tough time up until they're sharp. Then I can look at going into the association in the years. But I'm happy with the behind the scenes that I'm actually putting in terms of my expertise when it comes to the association. Do you understand what I'm saying? For me, because before Maxwell, but look at what he did with Temidlalo. He is the leadership. See, at times, Maxwell Chele is one of the best leaders that we have, young leaders that we have in the country. We are blessed to have a guy like that. Whether what tennis, wherever the guy is, something happens. You understand? So, I mean, as a friend and a brother, I had to go and convince him and say for years, up until what no, you know what, Bruce, I think now I can do it because now it was because of tennis played a role. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So without Maxwell Jene, I think we've had presidents before. For 20 or 15 years, what did they do? Nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? But look at where we are today. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you, juniors, remember that time. That was the time when I was a JTI. You understand, Patiso? You get me? Some of these things, some people will hold it back and try and be, more civil about it. I am civil, but I'm telling the truth. So we got in there, we made things happen, we got in all the juniors. Personally, as a player, as a senior player, and said, we cannot have this gap forever, especially because your Allen Matros was not there anymore. Your Chulan Kina was there, but he was not the Chulan Kina that they had all the time because people transition, they have families and everything, but I stayed in tennis. You understand? So for me, I would fight for tennis no matter what. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm happy with EFL, but I will say this: we're in good hands. Tennis is going far. Tennis is going to become one of the best sports, you like it or not, in Swaziland. Not because the sponsors talking about tennis, but if this thing is not run professionally, if it doesn't have leadership, what's going to happen? Yeah. Hence why I'm saying we are blessed to have Maxwell Chele as a president.
You were about to tell me about the foundation?
Yes, and then so when it comes to foundation, it's because, remember, I came out very late to say I'm diabetic. You understand?
Yeah.
Those reasons were, I knew foundation was gonna take a lot of my energy because it's a personal thing to me. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to not cut corners and be ready for it. The nation only knew after 13 years that Bruce Gama is diabetic. Nobody thought I was diabetic anyways. I'm a sportsman. I want to believe in the little that I had. I did what I could. I'm still trying to do what I can. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I knew it was going to take a lot of time from me. Hence why I want to say today, I haven't done justice to it. The plan was to go hard in 2010. Then, the pandemic actually came after that. Yes, you understand? You need to convince people when you go to other partners that you want to actually, partner with, because everybody was excited about the whole thing. I came to studio, I came to you guys when everything was starting, everything was on fire, you understand? But at the same time, I need partners to make this thing happen, you understand? So 2020, I had a couple of partners, but then when I went back to them, even the funds that they wanted to put in so that everything running in the but what I like is that I have people today that call me direct. You understand? That are diabetic, young people, old people, and say, I meet people that say, hey, Gadi Andwami is diabetic. Do you think you can have time? It's me, no problem. I put them first. I talk to people that are diabetic. At least I'm doing something behind the scenes because as Bruce Gama diabetes response, we're doing this. But really, at the end of it all, I am not doing what is important, which is talking to people personally, in a personal level. Because it's not about advertising, about helping people.
Yeah. Before I'll let you go, Bruce, what's the plan for 2021? We know we're still struggling against the pandemic, but for tennis and for the foundation, what are your plans for the year 2021?
I think for me, to be honest with you, but the way I'm sitting right now, I want to believe but I would say when in terms of the statistics, are we able to actually improve as a nation? If vaccine, if figure, you understand? You can have an idea, but I want to still actually take the ideas that I had that 2020 and then actually paste them to 2021. But again, pins and Mambeg. So the moment we're coming back again as hard as we can. So I had a chance to actually speak to the president as well when I was in Swaziland. you know, young tournaments that the association I think are doing also for seniors, which is 2 tournaments, and then you also have the club championships that are coming up. I want to believe ACES is actually going to take those that club championship this time around. That one is for sure. I'm very much positive about it. I know it's going to be tough. You know, the standard is really up right now. After the tournament standard is new really after the ACES series. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the competition, but as tennis, if as tennis, as Bruce Gama, I'm gonna play a couple of international tournaments. That one is for sure.
Okay.
I've started training now, even though I know the other guys have been on training since last year. No Makfiga Epidemic, they've been at training, which is a good thing. So for me, tennis is on track. It's melenjo, but I know. My vaccine mhlawumbe sekakhona noma ke babu sebajovile timo sethi kahle, we understand.
Yeah.
Then we go back as tennis and sicala lo mlilo la sigcine khona 2020.
No, Bruce, thank you so much for your time, and I think we got a lot from the interview we just had.
No problem, Patrice. Anytime. Namuhla ngiyasijabulela lesikhathi because I'm talking about certain things lengazange ngikhulume ngato before, you know, but I sometimes fika esikhathini la khona funa sikhulume ngetimbo noma ngabe bengasiso lesikhathi sakhona. I'm sure next time we probably have even more time. We probably would have done even bigger things as tennis, but I'm happy for the opportunity, and I want to thank the viewers at home.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Master, you can hear the passion. You can hear the love he has for the sport. But above all, he wants to improve the standard of the game.
Yeah, he is one of those players listening Jobang Shilongati for a very long time. Udominate and wakhombisa lokuthi passion unayo kangakanani, but ngifuna kusenza kancane parties on leadership. Ngiyakhumbula nabangena officeini with the second term nabangena sibuya ku cover yona le AGM yakhona lapho sasho sathi itennis isetandleni kahle, and I'm happy today kusho Bruce uyafakaza uyadlala and involved akusiko nje ukuthi mhlambe sishaya amagogogo ngabo Maxwell, but this guy is more especially na Maxwell wendela okuningi kakhulu, so uchazile ke Bruce ngeke ngibeso lo ngikhuluma, but nje ngicaba ukuthi i-tennis they are one of those ngihlale ngikhuluma ukuthi i-tennis are one of those ema sports lane facility yawo ema tennis courts siyawabona lapha kalobamba masha, and bane title sponsor siyazi ukuthi i-building society title sponsor yawo baka tennis, so but they are on the right track. Parties kuningi labantu akachieva eminyakeni letako.
Siyibonga kakhulu kuba baka tennis nemsebenzi lomuhle laba wendako. They are the only one who fully own their own facility, if I'm not getting it wrong, because if you say some stadiums are hulumende akusiwo ema association, so well, it's training center, not a full stadium. Talking stadium, but then thank you so much, Bruce Gama, Tennis Association. Master, we're gonna take a shot inside. Jamie Pennington, if lapekaya uhlelo thona yathi igalova itransport lengifisile ukuzidlala, but I just don't know. I just don't have the grip of it all. Stay tuned. Eswatini TV Temidlalo will be bringing you insights. Our professional golfer Jamie Pennington will be showing us some few tips. Some few basic tips we're gonna be showing you on this show every Monday. Tips. This is our first tip for the week.
I hope this little series finds you well, and that what we do, myself and the team at Eswatini TV, we've come up with a little series. We're going to collaborate every week during this sports show. There's going to be a tea time tip or a golf tip, and we'll work on different parts of the game. Today we're going to start at the putting green. Next week we'll do chipping, and we'll lead all the way into the full swing of the driver. So today is going to be a couple of drills that you can do during practice, and one that you can do during a warm-up before you play, that hopefully will help you putt a little bit better, get your speed a little bit better, your pressure putting a little bit better, and lead to lower scores on the golf course. So the first one that we can do is over here. It's a warm-up drill that you can do before you start a round. The tees are placed at 4 feet all around the hole. You can just measure it by putting one foot in front of the other, like so. The nice thing about this drill is that you'll use one ball. You'll start it before your round of golf, wherever you're playing. And the really good thing about it is that because it's at 4 different angles, it gives you 4 different types of putts. So this one here would be an uphill putt, that one would be a left to right, that one would be a downhill, and a right to left. This then helps you cover all the bases that you'd find on the golf course. It gets your speed right for your short putts because you're hitting different putts from different angles, and because you're using one ball, it replicates how you would play on the golf course. So this is something that I think everyone should implement into their warm-up, and it's a drill that you'll see a lot of tour pros doing before their round of golf. These two over here are practice drills that you can use. When you're practicing, you can use them as warm-ups as well, and they're really nice drills to replicate the pressure that you'd feel on the golf course. Sometimes it's not advisable to stand and hit 20 putts to the same hole, because you'll never have 20 putts to the same hole on the golf course. But if you can replicate a little bit of pressure using one golf ball, your focus goes up, and your results will be a little bit better. So this one here is called a spiral drill, or a tornado drill. You'd start at the shortest tee. This would be 3 feet from the hole. Once you've made it, you'd go to 4 feet from the hole. You'd move to 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, and 8 feet. If you were to miss one of them, you start again at the 3 feet until you've done them all consecutively. By doing this, it replicates, again, pressure. It replicates how it would be on the golf course, and no putt is the same. You have an uphill right to left here, and by the time you get to 6 feet, it's downhill and left to right. So this is a great drill to practice. It replicates pressure. You use one ball again. I'd advise to go through your routine as if you were on the golf course, take practice putts. And because you have to start again if you miss, it does create that pressure. It's a great drill to do before your round if there's space, or just as a practice drill. I often like to do it at the end of the day, and I can only go home or leave the golf course once the drill is done. So it gives me pressure. By the time you get to the last putt, you really have to focus, and there's frustration if you miss the putt and have to start all over again. So this is a drill that I'd recommend everyone to try. As I said, all you do is you pace off 3 feet from the hole, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, and 8 feet. If you'd like to do it the other way, you can start at 8 foot and go all the way back to the shortest putt. Either way, the pressure is created, and it's a great drill to replicate how it would be on the golf course. The final drill would be a pace drill. So this drill has not much to do with actually making the putt and getting the ball into the hole, but more with the speed that the ball goes towards the hole at. So if you were to look over here, you'd start at 5 feet or five steps, 10, 15, 20, and 25. This drill, what you do for it is you get a golf club or a stick or something and put it 2 feet behind the hole, like so, and you'd start here preferably with 3 to 5 balls, with your goal not necessarily being making the putt, but you want the putt to either go in the hole or finish between the hole and the stick. By doing so, you create the right force and energy and feel that's needed to get the ball past the hole, and giving it a chance, but not too far past that we bring 3 putts into play. This distance from the stick to the hole is still tap-in distance, and it's a great way to practice that. As I said, 3 to 5 balls would be adequate. You start at 5 feet, provided you get all the balls either in the hole or in between the hole and the stick. You then move on to 10, 15, and it's the same as the other ones. If one ball were to finish short of the hole or to run over the stick or hit the stick, then we'd start again. So another drill to create good pressure like you would have on the golf course, and just a really good way of cultivating the right feel. So if I were to do it here and show you, that one's gone in. That one's also gone in. So that's a good start. But if I were to hit one from here and it didn't go in the hole, let's say it's missed a little bit to the right, but it has stopped between the hole and the stick, that would still be a pass. That ball would be acceptable, and provided I got them all within here or into the hole, then I can move on. It's quite a simple drill when you're from a short distance like this, but once you get to 20-25 feet from the hole, which is roughly about 12 meters, it's a lot trickier to get the right speed. This is a drill that's great if you play on a golf course that you haven't played before, or on greens that are a different speed to what you're used to. So I hope these 3 putting tips help your game, help you putt better and lead to lower scores. If you have any questions, please contact me and I'll be more than happy to explain any of these drills to you. Thank you very much and stay safe.
Our first editions of Emma Tips from James Pennington. Listabe siqhubeka nawo nje. Sahamba nje isikhathi sitabo bahle siwafaka ahla sipha Emma Tips sitake siphindze sithathe na master sive usikhona indawo kufundza ngoma uhlelo lagcina ngami ubukelo concentrated master khona into okuthola kulapha.
Ngiyacosha but ngiyacosha
Nike lithemba masangithi confidence kuwe ngendlela lovuma ngayo.
No, le ndlela ngivuma ngilose kunengile ngufunzile leyo ngacabanga ukuthi utaku cover Jamie kulesikhashanyana lesi, so ngicabanga ukuthi I want to believe even my viewers ekhaya kunengila qoshile. Tinvo ka utefunze ngasikhathi sinye ngalanga linye. Yes, kune step by step.
Yeah, master as gijima lapha kuma nominations ayo ema yoga ukuthi kunyiwe ngabo bonile ukuthi president we football association Adam Mtsetho phinze ubuyile because na last time bekakhona bana Peter Shonga baxuthelene again bayabuyela bobabili.
Maybe nje phathizo singasho kancane ukuthi iyoga angileni inhlangano ledlalisa lebukwetimi imidlalo yema Olympics noma Commonwealth Games. So ke laba bafuna kungena kuleli committee lelisha lelitawungena eoffice at the moment president Peter Shongwe. Yes, Peter Shongwe ufuna kubuyela futhi ayobang president ucudelane ke na Adam Mtsetho lesimate kakhulu ebholeni losana 30 years aphethe ibhola. So ngicabanga ukuthi ema associations atakwati ukuthi lokufanele bona yini.
But ngibuka master president siyababona uPeter Shongwe, Adam Mtsetho, vice president Phedlamini Maxwell, treasurer Zakhele Zulu, Good Luck Gule, members Zakhele Nhlanhla, Lian Morel, Victor. Mangibuka bonke laba lapha. They have vast experience in sports.
Kakhulu ngilokule sekufuna ke phathizo ukuthi bonke labamvula abangena la kube bamvule ungeke uzubute ukuthi sengibani manje lo uyabona kube ngumvulo uthi okay at least simbonile kuphi, at least iboxing imelelekile, at least swimming imelelekile, imelelekile, tennis imelelekile. So ngicabanga ukuthi involved kahle na ubona bo Maxwell Jele bafuna ngena nabo bo vice president bopheli semkhumbula ka boxing kakhulu akhona naye. So ngicabanga ukuthi vele laba bamvula bane experience lokusamele mine ngiva ngathi lama associations, because ama associations asebenzile nalaba mvulaba ayabati njengoba ngishilo ngase batakwenda lokufanele bayathi bona lokulungele bona ukuthi ngikuphi,
bayathi ukuthi bathenga yini ukuze ukuthi sigcine sibone. We do hope ukuthi the next executive ngiyele tasithatha sibone at least a decent performance kuma Olympics, singayi ngama wild cards dot master. Let's invest lapha.
And futhi ke phathizo kule comment lengenako sicela ukuthi nakhamba lama athletes ngabe sesikhamba 6 laba se committee
khambe 2 ama athletes kube bethe coach kulo 6
ngithemba nje ukuthi kule nyalo batakulungisa le ndvo leyo.
siyaqhake vakala masa ukuthi siyachubeka isikhathi kuze kufela le election stars amakuthola labo bantu abafuneke lapha sivuthi ngabe bona basiphathela bathi bafuneka introduce in lapha leta into ukuthi siyele kuma Olympics ngokuthi siqualifyile siyelena ukuthi siyocompete not ukuthi sivakashile siyobona lawo mafek so kudlalela ko kepha ngibukeli ngiqosha isikhathi sitawugijima masinyane silapha emavuso lapha khona bokudlala iYoung Buffaloes kanye neEtoile Sahel yaseTunisia ku CAF Confederation master scoreline was 2-1 you look at the scoreline you were like bahlwe ekhaya and all that but the performance was decent master from Young Buffaloes awufuni kuvumelana nami
Phathizo imvula inile emavuso Sports Center in fact vele cishe livelonke so vele besikhathile ukuthi emavuso nakhona the pitch ingabe but ifili Etoile Sahel one of my professional teams in Africa but the performance asikayiboni lapha egroundini neYoung Buffaloes unfortunately for Young Buffaloes some of them players bekangekho sithi nje naphuma ke umapaseva yes some of my reports ukuthi labanye badlali babo balimele labanye including Bo Ali labanye ema reports athi COVID yes ku some of my key players abo so ngicabanga ukuthi that was a huge blow for Young Buffaloes sithukile ke ukuthi noma kuqala le game sabona abadlali abanjengabo order bangaphandle bayicela ngaphandle yes indoda usicalile one of the most experienced players la khona in the league even though le pace ayisafani but yeah ayisafani but nje ngicabanga ukuthi Phathizo iYoung Buffaloes iqalile game yes ku first 5-10 minutes bakhombise ke saba eEtoile Sahel but sithi nababona kuqale badlala lebhola ukuthi eEtoile iyahlala lemuva ibanike le spaces ukuthi bangayiphasa lebhola base bayaqala ke bakhona ukuthi bangayiphasa lebhola
still Khonazi amaphaleni eBuffalo angifuna ukucabanga master kuswa now I think this was your first time umbukela adlala if not second time
no
kuba essential ku for Young Buffaloes here's in the last 2-3 years akathola ema games elankanani but looking at the game and looking at the goal performance yakhe considering he hasn't been active for the longest of times.
Yeah, for the longest of time, Magabi active, but in Kabansi last season, if not the previous season, Koni game la idlala kungwenyama cup or so Eswatini Bank, and even before that, abegcine kudlala ku coach Stoff, ku Young Buffaloes.
That was even before
Dominic, yes, begadlala ke cishe regularly ku Young Buffaloes, but ever since, lengikabansi goalkeeper wahlala kakhulu, bese uba rusty. Ngicabanga some of udlalile he had a fake game but ngicabanga ikhona le room improve because more especially ku communication
but improve ahlala benchini but I get your point.
Yes,
I'm looking at that goal look at the shortest player cut the box in how
yeah le communication lengisho Phathizo lesikhala ngayo kakhulu because in fact as a goalkeeper uyadinga ukuthi ushout your two central defenders wa shout because bebangawena umsebenzi wawo at all itolo more especially kuma crosses kani sivile ukuthi coach wabo kakhulu beba trainer basebente kuwo kakhulu but ngicabanga ukuthi Phathizo ngicela kuveta nako because isikhathi sincane lesinaso on Thursday we will have a full analysis sikhombisana lama area lapho khona eEtoile Sahel
la kumele balungise khona mabasa because tabe sesibukelo sibalungisaphi
exactly la kumele ukuthi balungise khona coach asahamba nale team asa eTunisia ukuthi ngitiphi lama areas lekudzinga ukuthi balungise kakhulu and ifepi Young Buffaloes ingalungisa kuphi bangayidla kuphi futhi eEtoile Sahel but ngicabanga ukuthi njoba ngishilo ukuthi bebathi nasebaqala bayiphasa le game benda nje passing game ubone lo ukuthi cishe kukhona lokuhlangana unfortunately the last touch bengendeke bengatholakala kahle
sitha ufuna ukubona iligoli lesibili master la eToile njalo ukuthi sixosha sona isikhathi ukuthi ihambe kwafika kuphi because iBuffaloes they created decent chances kwabona bakhona amathuba laba wakhile laba ngakhona kwasebenzisa because of poor finishing I'll bluntly say that poor finishing iba costile
Lengicabanga ukuthi kuba ngekho kwaphiwa kuyidlalile because is one player longasabi kuthatha lawo ma shots and nekungena late kwa order kuyidlalile inzima more especially second half because young Buffaloes inele iyasase iyabona ukuthi second half this is the second goal again the shortest player lapha cut ground in Kulibali uscora ngenhloko lengicabanga ukuthi dineng letinvo njengoba ngisho ukuthi dineng more especially ema roles nama duties alabadlali la cut groundini le start discuss at this day because uyayi right back kuthiwe unikwe assignment ekuthiwa uclose space bangathole ama crosses awukwendi lokho. Number 2 the central defenders nakuqhamuka ibhola ingene cut boxini kuthi uclearish ibhola kuthi ngibani lo makako ngibani lo sweeper abakwendi goalkeeper kuthi uya communicate noma uya hesitate nivele kuphuma hamba uyoshaya lebhola a lot of things but nje ngicabanga ukuthi finally I Buffaloes after I 12 to Sahel 2 amagoli bese yalithola bongwa youngster wayo young Buffaloes a very very good goal lengicabanga ukuthi if bakhonile lokwathatha lawo ma shots lawo early in the game.
Look, I want to talk about Spence sa uyafika ke Buffaloes. He hasn't played much because vele kude ama games adlala more especially ku league. But the confidence he has.
Phathizo ngicabanga ukuthi first half njoba ngisho ukuthi is a young boy akakhona ukudlala kahle bekathukile but second half
he was taking on the defender that big defender nje uyishilele pass
yagcina ithole yellow card. Second half bekawathatha lawo ma shots and ngicabanga ukuthi Phathizo beknothisa ngiva some of them players bekahleli lapha kuma stands every time nakayibamba le bhola bathi mconze ntwana
because we are capable
bayam understand ukuthi u talented kanganani u gifted kanganani so ngicabanga ukuthi is a young boy lo tawukhona ukuthi nakakhuliseke kahle abe that player young Buffaloes lefuna ko legcina ifunile kudla ngaye.
I do you think Master Buffaloes because I have something against Mavuso because it's like on. Do you think if we were not playing in Mavuso and if Buffaloes were never by the whole squad is pelele, they would have gotten a better result?
But ngicabanga ukuthi ngine challenge uyakhumbula na coach Simbutile itolo ukuthi why you train ka somhlolo yodlala emavuso washo vele wathi kuba affectile lokho uvumelwa wathi kuba affectile lokho but bebentela lo at least somhlolo mkhudlwanyana mavuso afana nasomhlolo. 1 artificial turf somhlolo mavuso natural grass. 2 mavuso omncanyinyana. Yes, now trainer kune match pick up pitch khona la kutasita khona but ngicabanga ukuthi une home ground advantage usekhaya trainer la kunetshani khona 2 weeks wonke la labakuvumele ngayo ukuthi utraine ngayo ikhona Prince of Wales la dlala la tshanini liniselo le ground because one thing le ngicabanga ukuthi lesita ukukhuluma ngayo incumbela ama ground app awaniselwa Phathizo belinile lapha bekashelela so ngicabanga ukuthi most income vele behluleka and those guys are tall iqalile Buffalo yafuna kudlala etulu ibhola kani every time that defender elabeka dlala number 5 logcina thola yellow card bebayifakela yena le bhola sonke isikhathi bathi nje nabayifaka emoyeni afika ihead so ngicabanga ukuthi young Buffaloes there is a lot but if we really want to kuwina le game le kutsinga ukuthi kushintshwe iapproach in my tactics
sitawufa gowe ma statistics ukuthi what best can they do and hopefully sidabe sesikhulumisene nayo young Buffaloes before bahambe because the next game iyodlala Sunday khona eTunisia kepha we gonna try ukuthi sibathole before they depart for Tunisia. Masa, thank you so much for your time.
Ngiyabonga Phathizo but again ngicabanga ukuthi young Buffaloes asithandazeni simaswati ukuthi bahambe badlale kahle le performance ibonile bekulokolokoda siyethemba ukuthi at least low two goals maybe.
I personally think they played well considering ukuthi they haven't been active for some time njalo kwathi ukuthi ama games la even asemisiwe kepha ke sethemba ukuthi bafana batawuhamba manje badlale ngikudimisela khona eTunisia bathembisile ke bo captain Bolinda mkhona ukuthi no abaka give up batawuhamba badimisele Sibonga kwembukeli lokuhleli nathi sibonge kuye na Bruce Kam libe sixoxisana naye kabanti ngemidlalo wakhe netennis. Sibonge kwembukeli lobubukele sibonge kuye naLinda Master Dlamini sethemba ukuthi ulifokotela ihlelo sitaqhubeka ke nayo Young Buffaloes Thursday sesibuka ukuthi le ecampaign lebanga expecta le judging from what they've been doing at training and nalaba kwendile itolo kulomdlalo wayitolo sethemba ukuthi ulifokotela ihlelo mbukeli qhubeka usifotele naletinye inhlelo lesekulethela tona sengomsakazo weEswatini TV. My name is Patizwe Msibi. Good night.